All right, Houston, real quick. What happens if you suddenly get 500 jobs or a giant old building wakes up from the dead? Today, I've got two stories that are basically the real estate version of hold my sweet tea and watch this. So let's get into it. As I share my screen, we're going to talk about a lot of great things today. And what we're talking about are two things. We're going to talk about number one, Sugarland, big tech manufacturing momentum with applied optoelectronics or AOI. And then number two, Houston's East End, South Second Ward, the historic Folgers coffee plant getting a major redo, plus music and arts charter school tied to the site. So both are kind of things that quietly change a market before people even realize it. And that's what we're talking about today. Now, as we get into this, you're going to see so many interesting things popping up here. And the next thing is we'll talk about the two development transformations, the suburban tech surge and the urban revival, as we get into those. Now, let's go start with Sugarland, the high-tech momentum. And we're going to talk about this big idea that's fueling growth with reinvestment zone. This is getting into what Applied Optoelectronics is doing. And they're planning a major expansion in headquarters, including a significant new facility. The city of Sugarland is establishing a reinvestment zone. And if you ask, what's a reinvestment zone? Think of it as a city creating a supportive framework to help a large, valuable project move forward while ensuring the surrounding areas benefit. And that's what this is all about. Now, if we look at it by the numbers, the new facility will be between 210,000 to 266,000 square feet. And the size is reported differently across various filings and announcements. So that's why there's a range. Estimated not reinvestment, but investment, $77 million for the new facility component. And then a new city council reading or decision by January or on January 6th for that. So that's by the numbers as we look at it. The next step on the city side is another reading or decision, which I mentioned on January 6th. Now, the job growth fuels housing demand. We know that. Any major employer expansion equals people renting more, coming in to be close to the job, entry-level homes for new hires looking for plant roots, and move-up homes. So people might be accepting a job, they've been laid off, or a new job, however it is, and they want to move closer in the area. So that could be in the form of move up, and they don't want to commute so far. Sugarland already has a easy living draw, which they have great schools, parks, shopping. So when you add a major employer, that's more of a plus. And it's like tossing brisket on the fire. It's fuel. It's on the smoker. Everybody shows up. So that's what this is like for the area. Now, if we look at the project's timeline, you want to watch for updates on the facility's in-service dates, currently pointing towards summer 2026. Then there'll be infrastructure impact. Like you're going to talk about upgrading and improving traffic patterns and flow. Nothing says growth like needing 3 left turn lanes. Is that right? And then commercial follow on. Keep an eye on new coffee shops, lunch spots, quick service retail clustering nearby. There's already a great mall and shopping and restaurants and so forth, but you'll see as the area improves with more work, it's going to make a difference. Now let's get into the next one. We're talking about Houston's East Side Awakens Icon, which is this Folgers building that's been sitting there. It's a historic building. It's tied to the Levitt commercial, and it's converting the Folgers coffee plant, which is at 235 North Norwood Street, into a modern mixed-use space. It's going to be quite an addition, a perfect addition to the area. So let's look at the numbers. Now, if you look at the project scale, we have 254,808 square feet, the renovation budget of 10 million, and the targeted timeline starting in March, completed by December of 2026. Now let's talk about what is going to be there. That's really exciting. The anchor will be a new academy for music and arts. A project will be anchored by Frank Liu Junior Academy of Music and Arts. It's a new charter school concept slated to open from 2026 to 2027. And that is great news. So this will be an anchor tenant that ensures consistent daily activity for students, families, and staff, forming a foundation for the site's new identity. When we think about the vibes, the daily foot traffic is a catalyst for so much happening. It's like a ripple effect. So if you look at schools and families, staff, and events, then the next effect, it would lead to better lighting and safer feeling streets. Then it leads like a ripple. It leads to more neighborhoods serving businesses. Then that leads to increased desirability and the cool factor in the area. And that's always a plus. It also sits in a broader pocket of change along Navigation Second Ward. So it's one more puzzle piece in a neighborhood that's been steadily evolving. Now, what to watch next in the East End? Let's talk about that. The people, when this, well, yes, people are involved, but it's not what I was going to say. Tenant mix, you want to look for announcements on what other retail and office community tenants will join the school. And I'm sure if the school is the anchor, there's going to be more. Access and parking, so you want to pay attention to official plans for managing traffic flow, especially school drop off and pick up during school hours. And neighborhood activity, watch for an increase in nearby property listings, small scale rehab projects, and shifts in property values. People that own up, get into it, get in before it does go up. So much happening in that area, and you definitely want to pay attention to it. Now, we have two distinct stories shaping one city, because even though we say Sugarland or East End or Riverstone or River Oaks, it's all Houston, but it's the communities within Houston. In this case, we have Sugarland and the East End. With Sugarland, we have a new build suburban expansion, which is corporate jobs and manufacturing. So we're looking at tech and manufacturing. There's probably going to be some tech in manufacturing too, I would imagine. It creates demand for traditional housing, rentals, and single-family homes. And then we have the East End, which means they're going to take the historic Folgers building and its urban revitalization. That brings culture and community, and then you have an anchor that's going to bring an interesting and much needed charter school. It creates demand through placemaking and neighborhood vibes. Both are powerful market movers. Just remember that, demonstrating the diverse ways Houston is evolving. And that's all great news. So if you're thinking about buying, building, or selling, or you just want more information on what's happening new in Houston as you look around online, on Zillow, whatever you're doing, I'm Lisa. I'm your Houston internet agent and one of the hardest working agents in the area. So follow along for more suburb, inner loop Houston updates, which are fast, local, and real. And just remember, there's always opportunities to grow, to improve, to take advantage of Houston as it continues to just shape up to be a more interesting, vibrant city as it's always been, but it continues to evolve, and that's always good news. So I appreciate you all, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.